Hello everyone, my name is Adam Huber. I'm the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources in Allen County, Kentucky. And welcome to this segment of Field to Forks turkey processing. So today what I'm going to be teaching you all is how to, once you've harvested your turkey, we've had a lot of great speakers before tonight, and you should have learned how to call in your turkey, where to hunt, where to set up, all that good stuff. But once you've actually harvested your bird, we need to know what to do with it. And so that's what I'm going to be teaching you all tonight. We actually do have a turkey here. This is a domesticated turkey from a turkey farm. It's obviously not turkey season yet, so we weren't able to get a wild turkey, but this one will do. I just like to go over the materials that you're going to need, the tools that you're going to need before you even start thinking about cutting up your turkey. The first thing you're going to need is a good set of knives. This is what I use. These are my personal set of hunting knives. This is the Outdoor Edge brand. I'm not promoting them in any way, but they are really, really good, very sharp and dependable. I've had these for, I think, probably 4 or 5 years. And with a set of knives like this, you can see that it comes with 4 different knives. You get a knife sharpener, you get a cutting board. Pull that out, got a cutting board, got some instructions as well. And then you've got gloves, you got some snips, a boning knife, and then a breast plate separator for like white-tailed deer. And so there's a lot of different items here that you can use, and basically you don't need anything else other than what is in this to process your wild game. So that's what you need as far as your knives go. A good set of sharp knives. You're going to need a pan, some type of pan, bowl, meat tub, whatever, anything that you can find to put your meat in, your breast meat in. Once you do get that cut up, you're going to need some bags. These are just plastic bags, Ziploc bags. Use those for storing your meat after you've got it cut up, got it sliced in the slices that you want. So you're going to need that to store it in. And so that's pretty much all the tools that you're going to need. So what we'll do now is get right into slicing up or processing our turkey here. Okay, before we get started, we want to make sure that we do have some rubber gloves on, or any kind of gloves. That way you don't get your for sanitation purposes, and so you don't get your hands dirty. And for this part of processing the turkey, I like to use a boning or fillet knife. As you can see here, it's got a thin blade on it. You can see there that it's not really tough, not a really tough blade, and so you can, whenever we start cutting our meat out, it's got a little bit of flex to it. With this set here, this set of knives, there's a caping knife, there's a skinning knife, and there's a butcher knife. So that's one important thing, is to choose the right blade for processing our turkey. So what we're going to do is, before we get started on our cutting, we want to make sure that the turkey's feet are facing us. So basically you want your feet facing you just like that, where this breast is just right in front of you. And so with this domestic turkey, it's just a little bit different because there's not a lot of feathers here. But if this were a wild turkey, you'd have feathers that would come here just like this. So just pretend my hands are feathers, and you'd see just a little bit of a bald spot right here. That's where that breastbone, or keel, they call it a keel bone, is located. So basically what I want to do is make an incision. Make sure your knife is sharpened. Just make an incision there. And I like to kind of push down on it, keep my blade right there where that bone is, and then just glide my knife down. You don't want to cut too deep. You just want to glide right over it and just get enough, get your blade deep enough where it just cuts that top layer of skin there. You just go right down there. And so now with this particular bird, it's been frozen, so it may be just a little bit more difficult. But now all you have to do basically is just take your hands and just rip it apart. Rip that skin. Pull that skin apart. Really easy. This bird here, his breast meat is still cold from being frozen. So you're just going to keep pulling your skin on both sides. And what I like to do is take here on the legs, just push them down. You can see it, you can hear it kind of popped, and there's a joint where the legs attach. It pops those joints out, and so now your legs are not flopping up here in your way. Just going to cut that a little bit there, get that out of the way. So now, basically all we're going to do, you have two sides of your meat. This is your breastbone or keel bone. Basically all you're going to do is you're going to just make an incision at the top here and go right across the top of that. This bone in here is solid all the way down. You're just going to glide your knife right across it. So now that you've got this separated, this here is like the tenderloin of your turkey. So like you know the tenderloin of a deer, this is like the tenderloin of your turkey. So basically all you're going to do is put your knife against that bone, that keel bone, and just glide it right down. You're just separating that meat from the bone. Sometimes this piece of meat here comes off with the whole breast, this whole side of your breast, or you can cut it off separately. It doesn't really matter. Basically, you're just going to glide your knife. You don't want to stab down deep, because if you right in here, you get down into the turkey's craw area. You don't want to get into that. Get guts and you know what the turkey's been eating. You don't want to get that onto your meat that you're actually trying to get off. You're just gonna slice that down. You can see here, this is where the turkey's gizzard and craw is. You don't want to get any of that, so you're just going to cut around that. You're just gonna, and you can see here we've got just a little bit left. You can see that this is the skin, this is your meat. Just gonna glide your blade across. And there's one side of your breast. And there's your tenderloin. So that's your tenderloin there, that little thin piece. And this is the rest of your breast. So that's one side of our turkey done. We're going to put it in our pan over here. And then we'll move to the other side. Again, we'll just make an incision here. We'll just glide our blade right across that breast or keel bone. You can see that opens up real nice. You can see that tenderloin right there. You can just take your finger and separate that tenderloin. And it's real easy. Slide your blade across. And you can see, you can kind of visualize here, this bone, this breastplate or keel bone, it goes down and it goes, you can kind of see where you need to follow. There's basically a line right there. And you can, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and make a slice up and down that, just to separate that. skin. And you go back up here and you just start slicing down. And you get a nice clean cut there. You see there's not any meat really, maybe just a little right there, but that right there is your bone. You can hear that? That's your bone. That's what you're gliding your knife down. Make sure not to get your crawl in your gizzard area. We'll make sure you cut that out. You get down here to the bottom, you just want to cut straight across. And there you go. There you have it. There's your tenderloin piece and the rest of your breast. It's pretty simple. We'll go ahead and put that in our bowl here. As you can see, that meat, there's just a little bit of, I think it's just where a little bit of dirt and stuff got off the feathers there. Like I said, this is a domesticated animal. But pretty clean meat there. Whenever you cut it off, there's not a lot of blood at all. What you need to do now, you know, after you get that cut, is just cut your slices however you want it sliced up. And of course, obviously, you'd want to wash it and clean it up, but pretty clean. So now what we'll do, since we've got our breast meat out, is some folks will eat the legs and some folks will not. This breast meat is your white meat. It's good for frying. It's more of your tender type meat. This leg muscle, the leg meat is more. It's tougher. It's more for like your stews, casseroles, things like that. Is what you would use your leg meat for. What we're going to do before we actually take our leg meat off is we're going to cut our feet off. So typically, you know, if we've shot a turkey in the spring, you know, a gobbler, he's going to have big spurs, and you may want to use you may want to hang these up, you know, for in your trophy room, or you can also cut the feet off and use as a scratching tool for like whenever you're hunting, just as another call. A few different things that you can do. Some folks, like you can see this little nub spur here, not very big at all. But if this was a big gobbler that you killed, you know, a wild turkey, you know, he would have big spurs on him if it was a tom. If it was a Jake, he's obviously going to have these small spurs. But some folks, you'll see, they'll take like a saw and they'll cut them off here and cut them off here, and then they'll just have the short section of the leg there where their spurs are. That's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to take our knife, and you can see there the leg bends here. There's a joint right here. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to go where that joint is, and we're going to cut. We're going to slice that. We're just going to pop that out, and you'll have to cut around it, and there's our leg. Now you can hang that up, put it in your trophy room, or like I said, you can use that as another calling tool. We're going to go over here on the other side, do the same thing, make a cut right there. I don't know if you can see that. You're just going to cut that, then you're going to use a little bit of muscle, and you're going to pop it. You can see that joint there just comes right out. There's a little tendon there, cut that. Then we're going to cut around. Now we've taken our second leg off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and if we were wanting to save our legs to eat those, basically all you do now just take and just remove that skin. So we're going to go up here on the top. We use the tip of our knife, make an incision. Just go right down that leg. Just get it where you can peel that skin back. And whenever we started, I mentioned that we push down on our legs and it pops this joint out. So that does make it a lot easier to get your legs off. Basically, you're going to do the same thing that you do whenever you are getting your breast meat out. You're just going to take this skin. This one's a little bit tough because it's been frozen. You're just going to pull the skin. There we go. Now you can see there, that right there's that joint where I said we pushed our legs down and pops that joint out. So now all we need to do is cut down. You can kind of see there's a line right there. Cut down that line. Pull the skin down a little more. It's one thing whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that you get all the skin removed. You don't want to cook any of that. Just going to cut that. And there's our leg. Now you can, got a little bit of extra stuff up here, we'll cut this off. Now with your legs, now you can go ahead and debone them and put them in your whatever recipe that you're going to use. You can go ahead and like I said, you can debone this leg meat. This is, like I said, this is your darker meat. If you kind of look here at the difference, it's kind of hard to tell because this is a little bloody, but you can see the difference between this is your leg meat, this is your breast meat, dark meat, white meat. Let's go ahead and throw that one in there. We'll go ahead and do our second one. We'll do this one just a little bit different, just to show you another way as far as getting the skin off. The last one I started up here where we cut the leg off. This one I'm just going to start down here at the bottom and just make my slice going up. You don't want to press down on it really hard because you don't want to cut into your meat. You just want to kind of get your fingers in under the skin, lift it up, and then just glide your knife blade across. We're just going to peel our skin off, or peel it down, I should say. Now this one here, I'm going to have to pull this side down a little more. We're just going to take our knife here. You can see our line. Just going to separate that skin. As you can see on this one, here's where we pushed our legs down at the beginning. Pop that joint out. Right there's that joint ball. And we're just going to take our knife and cut right through there. we've got our second leg taken off. A little bit dirty. And that's pretty much the process of taking your meat out. Like I said, your leg meat, your dark meat, it's gonna be more for your stews, your casseroles, things like that. Your white meat is your more preferred meat. Some folks, like I say, they don't even take the legs out just because they are a little bit more tough. With the way that the bird is physically made up, that meat is just naturally going to be tougher. So that's pretty much that part of our taking our meat out. And so what I'm going to do now is show you how to take the fan off and take the beard off. If you wanted to have a fan mount. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take off the fan, which, as you all can see, this one has a big, beautiful, pretty fan on it. We're going to take off the beard also. So basically what we're going to do, of course, you know, obviously if we have killed a wild turkey, it's going to have a big, pretty fan on it that you can spread out and display on your wall, or just take off to use as decoy for a decoy. Lots of different uses for the tail fans. You can take the feathers out and you make like pins out of them. Lots of different uses for the tail fan, and then the beard also. So basically what we're going to do, I'm going to set this turkey up just like this, and what you're going to do is, if you can see, you may have to scoot in a little. Basically, you can take your hand right here, that's right above his rear, and you can see that it's kind of loose right here. There's a bone that goes up through here, and that's where he uses his muscles to expand his fan and things like that. So basically, what we're going to do, you can see there, all you have to do is squeeze it, and you can feel this muscle in here, and you can feel how the muscles get real thin. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take our knife. We're just going to slice right through here, and you can see there that right there is just skin. Basically, that muscle is real thin. We're just going to slice over to the side on the sides, get down to there. And basically what we're going to do now is we're going to come up here on the front and get however many feathers you want in your display, and grab those feathers. And basically you're just going to slice right across. And there's our fan. This one ain't very eye appealing, but that's how you do it. And what you want to do now, since you've got your fan cut off, you can go ahead and trim. As you can see, there's some excess meat on here. You can go ahead and you can kind of trim that up. And if you were wanting to do like a home mount yourself, you would basically spread your fan out. Turn it this way so you can see it a little better. Spread your fan out, and then of course this one's not going to cooperate, but you would spread your fan out, and then you would pin it to like a piece of cardboard, and then you would also put salt and or borax on the back part where your meat would be. Of course, like I said, you're going to cut most of this excess off, but you will have some left, and you just put salt and borax on that, and then you hang it up to dry for a few weeks, and then it'll stay there, and then you would go ahead and take your pins out, and then you can put it on a plaque, or like I said, you can use it as a fanning decoy, put it on the back of a decoy, whatever you want to use that for. But that's basically what you do with your fan. Now we're going to take off the beard. So a lot of folks don't know that you can do this. So most typically you're going to see somebody take their knife, they're just going to hunk this beard off. They're just going to take it and cut it off. They'd cut it off just like that. But what you can do, if you use your knife and cut this off, it's just going to be like this tail fan. You're going to have a lot of excess meat is what you're going to have. And you're going to have to put salt and borax on it also. But what you can do, this beard is just like these feathers. These feathers, you can pluck these out. So basically that's what we're going to do. We're just going to grab our beard. We're not going to yank every little piece out. But what we're going to do is grab our beard. We're just going to kind of pinch it with our left hand. And then we're just going to kind of pull it. And you can see there, it comes off real clean, and you don't have any excess meat or anything like that. So now you can just go ahead and display that with your mount, with your fan here. Like I said, doing it this way, you don't have that extra meat that's on there. You don't have to put anything on it, such as borax or salt. And so you can do lots of different things with these. Now, if you're wanting to fully mount a turkey, like a full body mount, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take the whole turkey to your taxidermist. You don't want to cut any of the meat off of it. You don't want to do anything with it. And so basically, they're going to cut the meat out themselves because there's a certain way that you have to that they would have to cut for restitching and things like that whenever they go to mount it. So, like I said, but if you're just going to do it yourself, this is the way to go. Then you've got your spurs, you've got your beard, and you've got your fan. That's basically it when it comes to the getting your beard and your fan off. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. I'm just going to go over just a couple things to wrap up. Basically, what we want to do after we got our meat taken out of our bird, we want to make sure that we clean all the feathers off. If there is any feathers that do get attached to your meat, clean those off. Wash your meat in water, and just make sure that it's all sanitized. And before you go to put it into your bags, just make sure your meat is dry. Just set it aside. Separate your meat out. Let it dry itself off. And then go ahead and put it in your Ziploc bags. And what you're going to need to do is put your confirmation number on the bag. Each package that you're going to put your meat in, put your confirmation number that you get once you call your bird in, and also the date that you killed that bird, and then also probably just write on there what cut of meat that is, so you know once you pull that out of the freezer. And so that's basically what you need to know as far as processing your turkey. If you are going to process your turkey in the field, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a fillet knife. That's just what I like to use because they have a good thin blade, flexible. You can use other types of knives, and also if you're going to process your turkeys in the field, it might be a good idea to have a cooler with some ice nearby, especially later on up in April. It typically gets pretty warm throughout the day. So if you kill one in the morning time and you and your buddies are hunting together and you're going to keep after them, go ahead and put that bird into a cooler with some ice on it, and just keep that meat cool because you definitely don't want your meat to ruin. So I think that's pretty much it. I appreciate everyone watching the video, and I hope all of you have learned something about processing turkeys, and also just throughout this whole series of videos, we've had some great speakers, and I think this is a very educational program for you and your family. If you do have any questions, you can contact myself on the processing and any other questions also, or you can contact the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, and we'd be definitely glad to help you.